Hello everyone, my name is Veronica and today I'm going to talk about total quality tools and example. So these tools are commonly used in total quality management to help companies identify problems, analyze data, improve process, and make better decisions. So in this video, I will explain 7 basic quality tools, why they are useful, and give the real-life example. So the first tool here is the check sheet. A check sheet is basically a simple form that used to collect data in a structured way. It helps us to see patterns, for example, when, where, or how often a problem happens. So the example here, like imagine a cafe wants to know the most common customer complaints. They create a check sheet with categories like late service or wrong order and cold fault. Every time a complaint happens, the staff put a mark. After 1 week, they can clearly see which issue happened the most. So this helps the cafe understand what they should fix the first problem. The second tool is the Pareto chart. So this tool is based on the 80/20 rules, which means 80% of problems come from 20% of causes. And the Pareto chart helps us identify the vital few that causes to create the biggest impact. So the example here, we using the cafe example earlier. So maybe the check sheet shows that late service happens 40 times, while the cold fault 50 times and the wrong order 10 times. So if we put this into a Pareto chart, we can see quickly that late service is the biggest issue. So the cafe should focus on improving service speed first. And next, the third tool is the cause and effect diagram, also called the fishbone diagram. So this tool helps identify the root causes of a problem by dividing them into categories that usually man, machine, method, material, measurement, and environment. So let's say a factory keeps facing product defects. When they draw a fishbone diagram, they may find, for example, under man, that workers are not trained properly, under machine, the machine is too old, or the under method, the quality check procedure is not clear. So this helps the manager identify the real reason behind the defects and not just fix the surface problem. Next, we have the flow chart. So a flow chart shows the steps of a process from start to finish. It helps us understand the workflow, identify unnecessary steps or the bottlenecks. So let's take an example in the university. So students often complain about how long it takes to process administrative forms, but by making a flowchart, the admin staff may see that students have to go through 5 unnecessary approval steps. So after seeing the flowchart clearly, they decide to reduce it to only 2 steps, which make the process faster and more efficient. The fifth tool is the histogram, which is basically a bar chart that's showing the distribution of data. It helps us see how often a value appears and whether data is spread out or concentrated in one place. For example, a manufacturing company that wants to check the consistency of product or the size, they measure 200 products and put the data into histogram. So if the bars are spread out, it means that the product size is inconsistent. But if the bars are concentrated in one area, the production process is stable. The next sixth tool is the scatter diagram. So this tool is used to show whether 2 variables are related, and it is usually used to check the correlation. So for example, like a manager that wants to know if an employee have overtime affects the number of defects. So they plot overtime hours on the x-axis and the number of defects on the y-axis. And if the scatter points show an upward pattern, it means that it has more overtime and is related to more defects. So of course, this helps the manager to understand the importance of balancing workload. And the last tool is the control chart. And this chart shows whether a process is under control or not by comparing the data points with an upper limit and the lower limit. So for example, in a bottled water company, they measure the volume of water in each bottle daily. So if the volume stays within the control limits, the process is stable. But if the data goes above or below the limits, it means something is wrong. Maybe the machine is misaligned or it needs to repair. So the control charts help the companies to monitor the performance continuously. So to wrap up the 7 basic tool tools, first, the check sheet that it collects the data. The second Pareto chart is to identify the biggest issue. The third, cause and effect diagram, is to find the root causes. The fourth, flow chart, is to explain the process flow. The fifth is histogram that shows the data distribution. 6, the scatter diagram, it shows the relationship. And the 7 and the last one is the control chart, which is monitor the process stability. So these tools are simple but very powerful. They help organizations solve problems systematically and continuously improve quality. Thank you.